So it's 8:05. So I'll let people in once they start coming through. So I'll continue to put people in. So I'm going to do a quick intro. I'm Coach Mel from Sanyard. For the people that know me, I'm the director of Sanyard. And today we're going to be talking to Toni Rodriguez. For those of you that don't know Toni, she is an AVP International Pro. She also played beach and indoor volleyball for LSU. She did have a little bit of a setback with an injury, so she wasn't able to qualify for Paris this year, but we're looking forward to LA. So, but while she was down, she wanted to still contribute to the volleyball community, so she started a company called Level Up. Level Up is a college recruitment consultant agency. What I think is really cool is that not only does she help you with that, she also helps you with the mental part of the game, letting the athletes know what the commitment time for certain, so D3 may not have as much commitment time as a D1. D1 is serious ball, and you really have to be gung-ho for it. So she kind of has a great way of talking to the players and seeing exactly what they want their college experience to be like. So I think that's pretty cool. She works one-on-one with the athletes. She works with the parents. She helps with videos and things like that. So I am going to let her take it away. Toni, just see if you can share your screen. But thank you guys all for coming. I think it's pretty cool. I'm glad that we have resources like this in our community. Okay. And again, if you want to ask questions, just put it in the chat and I will write it down and you can ask them at the end of the presentation. Okay? I'm going to mute myself now. Take it away, Toni.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Mel. Hi, everyone. As Mel said, my name is Toni Rodriguez, and I am here to talk to everyone about college beach volleyball and what it takes to do it. So as you can see, do you want to play beach volleyball in college? That is the big question. And if you do, great. And if you don't know, that is okay too. And I'm happy you're here. Like Mel said, if you have any questions, just comment them in the chat box. So just to tell you guys a little bit more about me before we really get started, I'm from Santa Maria, Louisiana, a small town between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. I was born and raised there. I grew up playing a lot of different sports. I played basketball, track and field, softball, and I did not start volleyball until my freshman year of high school, which is very late. Yeah, if you're just starting, don't be discouraged. After learning that I loved volleyball, I decided to play club volleyball, and then that turned into me wanting to play in college. I ended up going to camp at the University of Tennessee the summer of my junior year, and I got offered a full scholarship. And unfortunately, my senior year of high school, I tore my ACL, and about a week after that, I got my scholarship pulled by the school, unfortunately, which was not in my control. And yeah, I ended up walking on at LSU, which was a dream school of mine. They just weren't recruiting me to play there. But regardless, the coach allowed me to come, and I redshirted my first year. If you don't know what a red shirt is, it's basically a year in which you don't compete. You practice with the team, you work out with the team, and you just don't travel or compete at all. It's kind of like maybe like a gap year, but you're still in school and you're still kind of doing the normal student athlete life. You're just not playing. My second year, I earned some scholarship, and I started playing for the team, and unfortunately I got injured again, tore my opposite ACL. If you don't know what an ACL is, it is in your knee, and if you don't have it, it's very hard to do basically anything. So some people do live with torn ACLs, but they cannot do a lot. So I had surgery, and then, finally got back to playing, and ended up earning scholarship my last 2 years. I crossed over to beach in 2019, so I'm fairly new to the game still. Um, I knew that this was the sport for me when I started playing. I always thought it was a fun atmosphere, and I don't know, it was just something new and something that I felt like I wanted to learn. And obviously, my body had taken a beating indoors, so it was time to make a change. So I actually filed for a medical red shirt, and I was granted that. A medical red shirt is basically, you get injured, and you can't continue to play your season, and you have to kind of go through the NCAA, and not a lot of people get them. So I was lucky to get that. And then COVID hit, the year that I got the medical red shirt year, and we were ranked number 1 in the country. And yeah, the season ended, and I got a COVID year. That same year, I got shoulder surgery. So I am, yes, I'm basically a cadaver. It's unfortunate, but I am still playing, and that is one of my big reasons why I still play, is to inspire people to keep going after their dreams. So, I was in college for 7 years. I have a bachelor's, and master's in kinesiology, and I also have a master's in leadership and human resources. So I'm very blessed to have a lot of schooling, and it all paid for. I ended up starting my professional beach volleyball career in 2021. I moved to California basically immediately after college, and I've been here ever since pursuing that. As Mel said, I play on the AVP, which is the domestic tour, and I also play on the international tour, which is the FIVB. And here are some of my finishes: second last year in La Paz, Mexico, and then a fifth last year in Manhattan, hoping to win an AVP this year. So yeah, that's a little bit more about me. And my business, Level Up Volleyball. This is a virtual recruiting platform designed for athletes that want to play in college. I started this business when I moved to California because I was working with a lot of Louisiana athletes, coaching them in the gym, and I felt like I didn't want to not be a part of their volleyball journey by leaving. So I designed this to help them get to college, and I actually did get a couple athletes to college. So yeah, now I'm expanding outside of Louisiana, which is awesome because I feel like there's a huge need for it. So this platform provides parents and athletes with resources to help meet future volleyball goals. Just a couple of popular questions just to kind of get everybody thinking. These are some of the questions I've gotten in the past. Who should we contact? Is this really what you want to do in college? Because it's a big commitment. Who's going to help with this process? What are the options that we have? Who's paying for it? Do you want to stay close? Do you want to go away for college? And where do we start? That's the biggest question. Where do we start? I just chatted with a mom a couple weeks ago, and that was her biggest thing. Where we don't even know where to start. So hopefully I can answer most of these questions today. And again, make sure you ask questions below in the chat. So here is a 10 steps for recruiting. This is the probably most basic way I could write it out. And yeah, I'll just kind of talk through it. So step 1, the first question is, do you want to play in college? I put if yes, but it should be if yes or no, or if yes or maybe. Then you proceed through the list here. So step 2 would be to collect film of you playing or your athlete playing. So as much as possible, and start at a young age. 3, what college do you want to go to? what are your goals? What do you, I guess, what are you looking for in this experience? 4, talk to somebody about what is realistic level for you to play in college. That may be a coach, that may be a consultant like me, might be your athletic director. It just depends. Maybe your club director. 5, make a top 10 list of schools you want to go to, based on what your coach told you about what's realistic. 6, you'd then go make highlight video, and then you could start emailing coaches on the list that you created. 7 would be to continue updating coaches on progress and playing schedule. 8, eligibility center account. So any athlete that's going to be playing in college is going to have to make an account for this, and this basically tells the college if you have an account or not, and they can start recruiting you like on like an official level, which there's a little bit more to that, but I won't get too far into that. And then reach out to coaches June 15th after sophomore year. This is a huge date, which I'll talk about a little bit later on as well. But this is like the date for everybody. This is when coaches can officially reach out to the athlete. And then 9, you'll find the school that's right for you. You'll take a visit. So you have up to 5 official visits, and an official visit, the school pays for everything. And they kind of set it up completely. They make an itinerary, they buy your flights, they pay for your meals, they do the whole shebang. And then if it's an unofficial visit, you can take as many as you want, but everything is more on what you can afford, and more based on you like bringing your kid there, or the athlete getting there. It's less to do with the school bringing you there. And then ideally you would want to commit to a program. Again, this is very simple, and it's a lot easier said than done. So yeah, so this is kind of what we're looking at here as far as the 10 steps for recruiting. Obviously, this changes depending on what grade you're in. These steps can be a little bit different depending on like where you're at in your career. And yeah, so this is just kind of a simple overview of what it looks like. The big question: when do we start the recruiting process? Where do we start? I think anything earlier than 8th grade is not really beneficial, so to speak. I mean, you can start earlier than 8th grade, but obviously the athlete's going to develop and change a lot between 8th grade to even freshman year, and then every year the athlete's going to change, right? So I think as early as 8th grade is probably good. So freshman year, I'd say is like a good starting point as well, if not 8th grade, freshman year. And then just kind of some of the things you want to start doing. So first would be, do you want to play in college? Either way, if it's yes or maybe or no, I'd suggest start filming regardless of what the answer is, just in case. So you can make highlight videos, and then you don't necessarily need to reach out to coaches, but you can, especially if you want to get your name out there early. I'd highly suggest making highlight videos and pushing your video out there. Again, college coaches cannot contact you back. So if you start sending out video to them, they can send you basic information on the school. So if your child, or if there's athletes on here, if you've received something from a school that is very basic, like a questionnaire, that means the school knows of you. And that is kind of their way of saying like, hey, like, we see you, but we can't talk to you officially. So here's a questionnaire to fill out so we can keep an eye on you. And then you'd go into sophomore year. So let's say you're just now starting, it's your sophomore year, or the end of your sophomore year. You should have some video. This is like the ideal case. You should have video. You should have a highlight video made. Should know most likely that you want to play in college. You can start emailing coaches. Again, they can't respond, but I think sophomore year is really that year where you can make your name known before that June 15th date. That way, when June 15th hits, the coach is contacting you. That would be the most ideal thing. Like, they want you at their program, so they reach out to you because you've been updating them with video. You can decide maybe by your sophomore year, you're deciding maybe potentially what you want to study or where you want to go to school. You know, there's a lot of amazing programs out there / schools. So it's really important to know what you want to study because if the school you want to go to doesn't have the program, then you might not want to go there. So, and then junior year, you should ideally have plenty of film, multiple highlight videos, emails should have already been sent out. Phone calls have probably been made with the coach. And that June 15th date has already hit, so you're in contact. By August going into your junior year, this is most likely when you're going to be taking a visit or multiple visits to different schools. And then the goal is to get a verbal commitment with that school. And then by your senior year, you'll be doing your official signing date. And then if you haven't done any of the recruiting process yet, it's basically the same as your junior year. You're going to want to get video. You're going to want to make a highlight video, and you're going to want to push it out to coaches. It's a little unfortunate though, because by your senior year, your options will be limited. So you're just kind of late to the game. Even as a junior, you're kind of late to the game, but definitely by senior year, it's kind of like what school will most likely let you be a walk-on, which is what I did. And a walk-on just basically means they do not pay for your tuition, and yeah, you just have to basically provide the financial aid for yourself, whether that's through academics or I had I had TOPS, which is the Louisiana financial aid. So that covered my first year of school. So that would be something to think about if you're a senior as well. And then over to the side here, you can see that I have the important date, which is when coaches can contact you. Yeah, just knowing that that date is going to be approaching soon for anybody that is a sophomore. It's really important to start getting your video out. And now I'm going to go into a little bit more about collegiate beach volleyball and some of the options there are. So divisions. There are a lot of options. So on the screen here, you can see I've got D1, D2, NAIA, and then NJCAA. So for D1, this is going to be the largest universities and colleges, and they're going to offer full rides. And this is going to be the most elite level competition. You're going to be a student first, but athletics is a very, very big priority. You have your D2, where they offer some full scholarships, a lot of partials. They're still serious about athletics, but you definitely have more time for your academics and your social life. D3, no athletic scholarships, but there is financial aid, which is really good. And you get to play and have a social life, and you get to take care of your academics, and it's just not as much of a commitment as D1 or D2. And then we have NAIA, which is just smaller colleges and universities, and they do offer some full rides, but mostly partials, and really great schools. And then you have like your JUCO, community college, and state colleges, and that's going to be the smallest level. And most of those schools will maybe award tuition, potentially cover fees. It just kind of depends on the school and your how good you are. Yeah, so this is a little bit of information on the different divisions. And then as far as programs in the country, good news is there are a lot of options, which is great. Around 169 programs. I said around because there's not one site that has the exact number because they're kind of popping up everywhere. New programs are, beach volleyball is the fastest growing sport in the country. And it's going to continue to be that way because women's beach volleyball is just growing rapidly. So it's really cool to see. So D1, there's 62, D2, 20 colleges, D3, 9 colleges, NAIA, 31 colleges, and then in JCAA, there's 47 colleges. So basically what I'm here to say is that there are a lot of options, and even if you're not a D1 level or you're not a D2 level, you can go and play, and there is a school out there for you. So I would highly encourage you to look at your options, and even if you feel like it's impossible, I doubt it is. Like there's a lot of options out there. So yeah, my biggest thing is like I just highly encourage anybody that thinks they want to play, definitely definitely don't give up on that. So just a little info about the colleges. So just getting into things to know about recruiting. So I actually did I did an internship with LSU indoor volleyball when I was in college, and I learned all about the recruiting side of things. And I'd say indoor is a lot more particular with like what they're looking at as far as like what is the coach looking at when they come to tournaments. But I'd say beach is a little bit more relaxed because you don't have to be the 6'1" outside hitter to go to a really good school. You can be the 5'8", the 5'7", really good defender and make it to a D1 program. So some of these things that college coaches are looking at, like take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, so college coaches are looking at height, build of body, approach jump, vertical jump, experience level, academics, what position you play, leadership, attitude. And I'd say not all of those things are they looking at in the video, right? When you send a highlight video, they're mostly looking at, okay, is this athlete good enough skill wise for me to come and watch? And then basically when they come and watch, then they get to see all of the other things like attitude, leadership, communication, things like that, right? So some of these are looked at in the video. Some of these things are looked at in the email. Some of these things are looked at when they come to see you play live. So you just want to make that very, very clear. If you want to play in college, you need to play club volleyball or summer tournaments. It's highly important. Like, well, there's not a lot of opportunities in high schools anyways for beach volleyball, but the way you get recruited is going to tournaments and playing. College coaches don't usually come to you necessarily, like as far as like high school goes, including indoor. They mostly go to club tournaments. Same thing goes for a beach. They're going to go to summer tournaments, showcases. What else? Also another big thing. I think one of the biggest things to do if you're 10th, 11th, or 12th grade and you're trying to get recruited is to go to college camps if you can financially afford it. Camps, you get right in front of the coach. You sign up for camp, travel to that college and you get right in front of them. You get to show them exactly what you can do right then and there. So I'd highly suggest, if you can afford to go to maybe a school that you really want to go to, or you feel like is your top option, or maybe your top three. Maybe if you can, if you can afford to do that, right? I'd suggest doing that because it's one of the easier ways to get in front of college coaches. And then as far as summer tournaments, reach out to your club director. They should be able to guide you on how to find tournaments. I would say California is the biggest place, probably the easiest place to get recruited in the summertime around like July, because that's when a lot of the tournaments are out here and a lot of the college coaches come out to California. I will say some of those tournaments are invite only, or you have to have a bid, which means you win another tournament that gets you to the California tournament. So you'll have to look into a couple of those things, but just highly suggest playing in summer tournaments. Also, the more you play, the better you're going to get. So if you're new to beach volleyball or you still don't have that much experience, playing is going to help you learn the game faster and grow quicker. So, and then ultimately, I know there's probably a couple parents on here, and I don't say this in a harsh way. I just say this in a way that's, this is the athlete's decision to play college beach volleyball, not your parent. So if you feel like I want to do this, then I feel like there's a way to get it done. And there's a way to get there. I've worked with a lot of athletes from Louisiana specifically that they said they want to go play in college and their parents spent all this money to get the recruiting stuff, and then it kind of fizzled out. But it was more because the parent wanted to invest in their child and wanted to go more than the child wanted to go or the athlete wanted to go. So just know that if you want to play, you can do it, and it's going to be hard work, but you can do it. And yeah, so that's a little bit more about recruiting. And then I think that this is maybe one of the more important slides, just to take note on. What does it take to play at the next level? I think looking back to high school, I did not realize how challenging college would be. Like, college athletics in general is a different beast. Like, you think you're prepared and you're not. Like, even if you prepare, you're not prepared. Yeah, just to give you guys a little bit of an overview, this was my experience, more of my experience. So this is D1 at LSU, one of the top programs in the nation. So it might not be as extreme as far as like depending on other schools, but first and foremost, you are a student before you're an athlete, and they made it very clear that we were students before we were athletes. And if your grades weren't good, if you weren't doing your study hall hours, you were not going to be competing. So always student first, then athlete. Obviously, it takes the normal commitment, work ethic, drive, organized. There's so many things that you learn your freshman year that help you get through it, but it is a grind and it is not easy. Just to kind of give an overview of what it looked like. So out of season, we would lift 4 days a week, and then we would start with 8-hour weeks. So that would be 2-hour practices. And then we would eventually work into 20-hour weeks, which would be, sorry, let me see. It would change to 3-hour practices. And that would be every single day. So the schedule would kind of ramp up in the out of season. And then you're looking at 4 to 6 classes that you're taking on top of that, just depending on what your major is. And then you have your tutoring, your treatment, your film, your rehab, your volunteering, social life, football games, visiting family, all of the all of the things that come with being a student athlete are also wedged into the little time that you have. So, and then in season, 3 days in the weight room, 20-hour weeks, which is 3-hour practices every single day. And then 3 to 5 classes academically, depending on, again, what your major is. And, knowing that you're in season, you might want a lighter load as far as classes go, because you'll be missing more school. And so the next one is traveling 6 to 8 weekends and competing. So depending on what division you're playing in, this can differ. But for me, we were traveling 6 to 8 weekends and then competing. And like I said, you'll be missing class. So you'll have to find somebody in your class that'll give you the notes, and then you have to make up work and take tests at different times. So that takes a lot of like organizing and figuring things out. And again, you have your tutoring, your treatment, your film, your rehab, volunteer, social life, kind of all of it kind of shoved in there. So it is a very big commitment. But again, depending on the division that you play in, it could look a lot different than this schedule that I'm showing right here. But this is like D1, most elite level, what it's going to look like. And, if you want to be the best, like, you're doing more than what's listed here. So, which I experienced throughout my college career. So, yeah. So my goal, as far as what I do, my goal is to help you accomplish your volleyball goals. You know, I'll put it straight. Working with me does not mean you're going to get a scholarship, and it doesn't mean you're going to get recruited. And I don't make a lot of big promises. What I can promise is that I'm going to help provide you with the resources to get recruited. And whether you use those and take benefit from that, that's kind of more on you as the athlete. And again, this is your goals as the athlete. Parents highly encourage pushing your athlete to do more of the hard work behind the scenes, sending emails. They don't want to hear from your parents. They want to hear from you. So making sure pushing your athlete to send those emails out, right? But yeah, I just want to help in any way I can. And then my second goal is to be with you every step of the way, if that's what you decide. I feel like I know a lot of beach volleyball coaches out there, so it is fun to work with athletes and get them connected to the right people. So yeah, my only hope is that people gain some knowledge from this presentation and potentially want to work with me in the future. As far as what I offer, some of these prices differ. And if you go on my website today, it's not going to be on there exactly how it is on here. But as far as what I offer a basic package with a highlight video, an email template, and a master list of all colleges, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, and JUCO. So that has all the contacts on there. It's very easy to go and get your own contacts, but this has every single school. So it's pretty nice, I'd say. And then I also offer a premium package, which is going to be a highlight video, an email template, college contacts, player analysis. This is kind of like an in-depth get to know the athlete, where I ask a series of questions, kind of like an interview, to really get to know the athlete and get a better understanding of what you want out of your experience in college. Do you want to move away? Do you want to stay in state? Do you want to be coached by a female or male? Do you want to study psychology? Yeah, the list goes on and on. So this is a little more like personal, which is what I like about what I offer. There's a ton of other recruiting platforms, and I know that. There's the big one, the NCSA recruiting, and I've had athletes that have worked with them that worked with me afterwards. They're not as personal, and I think that that's the big thing. Like, I want to see the sport grow, and I want to help athletes as much as possible. I have a passion. I want to coach when I'm done playing, and I feel like this is like very close to that. I love mentoring athletes. I love giving advice. Yeah, I just love it all. And so, with this package, it'll be a little more personal. I'll really get to know the athlete, and it'll include one phone call in the month to kind of guide you through what's going on. Um, and then as far as add-ons, we've got recruiting process. If you feel like you want to continue to work with me after that 1 month, this would be again, serious inquirers only. I put that on here only because I feel like if you're kind of iffy about it, I'm not trying to take your money. I really want to help. So only if you're really serious about this and about the process, it would be meeting up twice a week, phone call twice a week. I mean, sorry, every 2 weeks we'd have a phone call, and then throughout the month, the athlete or the parent can reach out to me with any type of questions. If you need help responding to emails, could literally be anything. You can ask me questions about college. You could just anything you need help with, I can help with. So that's just a monthly thing. And then any additional highlight videos, and then private video sessions. I've done this in the past. I haven't, I've dabbled in it a little bit in the past, and it was really beneficial. I was working with one girl, and we did a couple different sessions on the private video sessions, and she really loved it. And I think the only thing with that is like, if you're being coached by somebody that's teaching you one way, and then I'm teaching you a different way, that kind of gets a little blurred. So just depending on who your coach is, and maybe if getting on the same page with them would be a good idea. But otherwise, that's some of the resources that I offer. And yeah, so we got now I'm opening the floor to anyone that has a question. And if you didn't put it in the chat, that's totally okay.
Yeah, I got two of them. If you want me to, do you want to read them off to you?
Sure.
You good? Okay. Olivia is asking, how big of a factor is age when it comes to eligibility? How old is the oldest college athlete that you know? For a late bloomer, college junior, is there still a chance of being a walk-on? You stated that you went to college for 7 years. How old were you when you graduated? Thank you so much, Toni.
Okay, so the first question,
The long question. Multi-piece.
let me see. Hold on. I can pull it up too. Okay, this helps me. Okay. How big of a factor is age when it comes to eligibility? I'll be honest, I don't know the oldest athlete, but I think as far as eligibility goes, so you're a college junior already? Is that what Olivia's
That's
stating?
what that sounds like, yes.
Olivia, if you're on here, you wanna pop on to.
Yeah, I can unmute her. We have everybody. Let me find her. There she is. Oh, okay, there she goes. So just unmute yourself. Your hair looks great. Okay, she's asking, I'm going to see if I could unmute her myself. You're still muted, Olivia. It's like the little in your window, there's like a little microphone that you just click it. Let me see. Maybe I can. Let me see if I can unmute.
Unmute.
Oh,
Okay,
there she is.
I got it.
Cool.
Hi. Hello. Okay, so yes, I am a college junior and I'm a coach for Phoenix, and super bummed that I missed the clinic this past weekend, but I was at a tournament. And when I was in high school, beach volleyball like wasn't a college sport yet. But I was getting recruited for indoor. But my passion is truly beach volleyball. So at this point in my life, I'm 27. So I don't know like if this is a dream that's just too far-fetched or if it's something that, you know, I should go for
Yeah.
at this age and this point in my college career. So yeah, I wanted to get some of your insight or advice on that.
Yeah, so I do know that there are older athletes, like I would have to do a little bit of research, maybe ask a couple of questions, to get more info. Where are you going to college right now?
I'm going to FIU
You're going to FIU.
University.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, let me dabble. Let me ask a couple of my mentors, and see. You can contact me directly and we can chat more, but I feel like I can't make any promises, but I feel like if you're in college now, there is possibility.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, no, I can definitely get back to you. I can I'll put my email at the bottom of the chat for anyone that wants to reach out to me individually, and then um I definitely want to get everybody more info via email. So
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to take up like time from the actual high school athletes and their parents. So I'll
It's for
definitely reach out
everybody.
personally.
great,
Well, thank
great.
you. I'll be reaching out. Thank you, Toni.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem.
Okay, Monica is asking, how exactly are the highlight videos pushed out to recruiters? There's like a bubble in front of to the recruiters once the time is right. Once the time is right. So what exactly are highlights? How exactly are highlight videos pushed out to recruiters once the time is right?
So basically how it works is, let's just say you work with me, I create a highlight video for you. It's going to be on YouTube, so there'll be a direct link. Or if your kid or if your athlete has Huddle, it just depends on what format we're working with. If you have Huddle, then you send a Huddle link. If you don't have Huddle, we would do YouTube. The video would be put onto YouTube. You guys would receive the link from me, and then um you would start sending out emails to colleges yourself. There, if you work with me long term, I can reach out to colleges as well, stating like, hey, I'm Toni. I played at LSU. I have an athlete that's very interested in the program. Here's their highlight video. A lot of coaches I do have direct contact too. So it wouldn't be that hard to get in contact with coaches. But I only reach out to coaches if you work with me longer term. And if you don't, you just start sending out video. Once you get the highlight video, you start sending it out to coaches. And if you purchase my basic package, you basically have all the resources to do that. So it'd be the highlight video, an email template, and then the contacts that you want to send it to. You can send as many emails out as you want. You could send an email to every college if you wanted to. So it's just more on where your athlete's trying to go. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, did you want me to unmute you, Monica? Monica? I have to go down, Monica. I will unmute you really quick, Monica, if you wanted to ask a question. Unless you're good.
Oh, that was my question. Thank you. The one you
Perfect.
just answered.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Perfect.
Okay, the next question is from Diane. I know you said 8th grade is the earliest to start, but are your packages more helpful for high school athletes after 10th grade?
Yes and no. I think it all depends on how early the athlete knows they want to play in college. If they know 8th grade year they want to play in college, I think there's no harm in sending out emails in 8th grade. or even the start of freshman year. Let's just say start of freshman year. Again, because if their name is out there, more coaches will know about them and they will have their eye on them earlier. Whereas for me, for example, I didn't start playing club volleyball until freshman year, right? Which would be the same thing, but I didn't start my recruiting until junior year. And I only really had two options to choose from. Like I had no help with getting video. I had no help with sending emails. I didn't even know what was going on. So I'd say the package could be beneficial if you're in 8th grade. It could be. And if it's something where maybe you don't want, maybe you just want a highlight video, or maybe you just want, one of the things in the package, obviously that can be talked about as well at another time. But I think overall, the package could help an 8th grader or a 10th grader. Just kind of more so where your athlete's at, and if they know they want to play for sure.
So if they know they want to play, is it a package once and done? Like, how does it work? Like, is there an expiration date on how long?
So I'd say like if you get the basic package as an 8th grader, let's say, again, your athlete's going to change a lot. So I'd say like one highlight video every 6 months. Like it doesn't need to be like rapid fire highlight videos, in my opinion. That's just personal opinion. So it'd be like you'd buy the basic package and then maybe 6 months later, you'd come back and say, hey, we want to get an additional highlight video. And then you just make another highlight video, and the process kind of goes on till like that. I would say if you are at the end of your sophomore year, or like your sophomore year or junior, I'd encourage closer, like more of the premium package, because I could give you a little more guidance and help with the actual process. Being an 8th grader or freshman, you're so far out that it's like there's not much that I can do as far as provide the highlight video, so and like the email, the basics of the email and the college contacts, and obviously the college contacts will be updated, probably they'll be updated again in the fall, because there'll be new schools added and different hires. So that'll be changed probably every semester.
So they create the highlight video and you review it? Is that how that works?
So I will create the highlight video and give you guys the link for it. So basically how I've done it in the past, if you have some type of platform, so like for example, high school volleyball has Huddle and they upload all their games to Huddle. Well, then I can just go into your Huddle and create the video on Huddle. But let's say you don't have Huddle. Usually what I do is Google Drive. So I have the parent just upload all the video to Google Drive, and then I go in, pick out the highlights, put the video together, upload it to YouTube, and then I get the link to you guys, and then you can do basically whatever you want with the video.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the next question is from Angela. And it's a question that's very dear to my heart because we're trying to grow the boys beach game so much on our area. And I can definitely tell you too that colleges are starting to add them. We do have one that's close to us. We're on the East Coast. It's Stevenson. So there is, and one of our coaches that helped us last year is the head coach. So it is growing. So if you have a boy in beach, and I'll give it to Toni because I'm super passionate about the boys beach game. It is growing. So if you do have like a beach player right now that happens to be a boy, they have a really unique opportunity to get in on the ground floor for that. So I think that's pretty cool. So, and I'm going to give it to Toni. So how about the boys? Can you give me any insight on boys beach?
It's growing. It is growing. I think it's going to be the exact same process. Make a highlight video, and email maybe there's 5 schools now,
I think
maybe.
it's actually 20 now.
Okay, 20. Okay, so we're like
Yeah.
growing. We
I'm
are
stalking them.
we're growing. That's good. That's good. It's great news. It's going to be basically the exact same process, in my opinion. Obviously, with it being newer, you're not really behind the ball, if that makes sense. So, like, if you're a junior or a senior, it seems like you're still like very highly likely to get recruited. So I think that that's the good part about Boys Beach, where like the opportunity is like so new and they're looking for people to fill their rosters. So I'd highly encourage videoing every single game that they play in, and then making highlight videos and then getting those college contacts. If you have boys that are interested in potentially working with me, I can make a list of all of the college boys schools as well for master list, which makes it super easy. And if you want to cheat the system, which I don't usually encourage this because you should make it a little more personal. For every email, you should make it very direct usually, but you can blind copy every single school and be like, hey, I'm interested in your program, and keep it very basic and simple and see who responds back. But again, I would encourage that. I would very much encourage a more direct email to every school. So, but as far as the boys game, I think it is growing like you're saying. And again, I think there's opportunity from any age, freshman to senior. So I would encourage the seniors to still be reaching out to colleges now. Definitely.
Okay, Angela, did you have any follow-up questions with the Boys Beach? Okay, I'm gonna say that's no. It's a good question. Okay, next question is from Courtney. Is it difficult to recruit for beach only, or do most athletes recruit for indoor and beach?
I'll answer that first.
Yeah, it's big. Oh, that's right. I forgot you can see it.
So it is not as difficult to get recruited for beach only now because it's growing so rapidly, and schools have scholarships now and partial scholarships and things like that. To be completely honest, a lot of schools do not recruit for both indoor and beach. It's kind of less likely to happen unless you're a freak of nature, where you're really, really good at both. I find that the college route, at least, I saw athletes that did both in college, and it really just took away from one or the other. Like if you played beach and indoor, it was like when you're supposed to be getting better for indoor, you're playing beach. When you're supposed to be getting better for beach, you're playing indoor. And they do help each other. I'm not stating that, but when you're playing at a very elite level, right? D1 elite level, you have to be like very, very good. So I think it is easier to get recruited only for beach now. How many athletes are typically recruited for a beach team? It just depends. When I was in college, we had 28 people on our team, which is too many people. But I think LSU probably has like 18 to 20 people on their team right now, and that's still kind of big. You have to remember that only 12 athletes play or compete, and the sixth pair doesn't even count. It's just an exhibition. So you're probably looking at the 18 to 20 mark, as far as how many are on a team, and obviously it can be smaller than that just depending on the size of the school. So my daughter's in 8th grade. Do you work with players that early, or should we wait until sophomore year? I feel like I kind of answered that question a little bit earlier, but if your 8th grader knows they want to play, It could just be where you buy the basic package, you get one highlight video, and then you kind of like update that video. And if you don't want the contacts or the email template, I could just make your highlight video for just a set price. That's also an option in the add-on, and you could just purchase like individually. So, yeah, it's just kind of up to what you guys want to do. I've had parents who have been very invested in like getting the contacts themselves and writing the emails themselves, or the athletes. And so maybe they only need help with the highlight video. So it's just more so what you need help with. And yeah, as far as like what I provide, as far as the recruiting process, you probably wouldn't work with me until like the end of your sophomore year, right before that June 15th date, when colleges can actually start responding back to you. Because I feel like that's kind of the process in which college responds back. You're like, oh, what do I say back to this college? That's where I can come in and kind of provide guidance and help you through that. So. Maggie Block, are there any apps that college coaches can see you other than just Instagram and emailing? Apps, Huddle, maybe if you put your videos on Huddle. YouTube. Yeah, I'd say those are like the only other ones that I can think of. I know social media is like a new hot thing that's like going on right now. I'll be completely honest with you, I hate social media. I do think it's good though for recruiting, and can be really good to have like a separate beach volleyball account where you just upload beach volleyball clips. I know a lot of athletes that do that, and then based on like you make that account and then you go and follow every single beach volleyball school that you're interested in, and then hopefully they see that you request them and they follow you, and then they start seeing your feed, and you go follow the coaches. Like almost like every coach has an Instagram account now, so you go personally follow them, and then they get connected with you that way as well. So that's a good, I think social media is a good tool, which I do know a lot about social media, which I can talk to anyone about that as well, or help anybody set that up as well. So, and then emailing is just like the most basic typical form of how you contact coaches. So, but yeah, other than that, Huddle, YouTube, I'd say are the only other two that coaches really like use.
Okay, now it's just me and Monica talking about boys beach volleyball in the chat. So I'll open up the floor now so if anybody wants to ask a question live, you are now allowed to unmute your mic and just see if you can talk one at a time. And yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, if there's no other questions, I'll let Toni wrap it up. This is being recorded, so I will post this on Facebook. So just in case some people missed it, or if you want to share it, it'll be on both of our business pages on the Level Up, and then we'll put it on Standard too, so you can find it. But we also have that little form if you wanted to get more information. You can fill out this form and you can put like what you're actually looking for, what grade your player's in. I just lost it. So I'm going to put that back into the, what's the best time to call you, that kind of thing. So if you did want to get a hold of Toni, here is and it shoots right to her. So she will be able to get it right away. So I'm going to put it in right now as soon as I get the link to it. Okay, so I have to open it. Okay, I'm putting it into the chat now. I have to change.
I
Okay.
do have a question, actually. I
Okay.
wanted to hear. I just thought, is there any sort of online board or like, is it the AVP webpage where you can communicate with other volleyball players who might be at your level? Or is there some sort of forum that exists? Is that what the huddle is? Maybe that's what that is that you were talking about that I'm not familiar with yet. Does that
Are you
exist?
talking like mentors?
No, just other if you want to connect, if you want to try to find other players, right? Because now the challenge, I think, in my case for my son, is to find him someone else to play with that he could begin to play in tournaments with, right? So how, to widen the pool a little bit, just to be ready at that time to start the search process.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. This is a really good question. I personally do not know of anything right now that has been designed for that. I think that would be an awesome idea if anybody on this chat wants to go in with me to make an app. I think it would be so cool to create this for juniors, because I get this question so much. How do I help my daughter find a partner? How do I help my son find a partner? I don't know. Like, the best thing is to like go to tournaments, and every tournament you go to, just like start giving people your number. Like, hey, if you ever want to play in a tournament, like, let me know. Like, it's just almost like networking. There's just not I don't know of a platform that's like a networking platform yet for that. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is like going to tournaments, getting people's contact info, watching other players at the tournament, like seeing if they're the same level. Maybe trying to find people on Instagram, right? Like other players that are playing, like do some stalking, and then like direct message, like DM, like, hey, saw your videos, like I am looking to play in this tournament, like, are you available? Yeah, that's what I would suggest right now. Hopefully that will change. But I've been thinking about that question a lot because I get it a lot. Like, how can we make this an easier, like an easier way to like help people find people? Because as far as the guys game, there's not a lot of guys playing, right? Already, like there's only a like, there's a certain pool of guys that play at that age or that level. So it's like how, sometimes you have to go outside of the state to find the right partner. So it's like, how am I going to do that? So yeah, I would encourage every tournament, just like networking, giving people your contact info, and then yeah, trying to reach out on Instagram, social media, just trying to find maybe even like this it sounds very stalkerish, but like looking up tournaments from the past and like looking to see who won the tournament, or like the top 3 in the tournament, and then like looking to see what level the tournament was. Was it an open level, an A level, B level? And then like seeing like every player usually has like an account where like their age is like available, maybe. So maybe then like, yeah, like finding players that way potentially. I don't know, that sounds very stalkery, but kind of what you have to do. If I design the app, I'll let you know.
Thank you. No, that's great.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. And, it's a small volleyball world and community, so we're all here to help each other. So we want the best for our kids and our players. So thank you so much, Toni, for, putting this together for us. And, that's kind of why we wanted to put this out there, because we just want to, know that there is possibility out there, because everybody thinks like D1, D1, D1. There's so many different levels. There's so many opportunities, especially with beach and indoor now. So it's pretty cool that we do have people like Toni who's been through the process, on both sides, really. So, we have that junior asking the question about, is she a little bit, too old in her college career to be which, 27 is not that old, but yeah, that she might be a little bit too old for this. But I mean, there's also the other option of not playing on the college team, but maybe, she really has that, alumni, she wants to be a part, she wants that community, that team, so I get that too. But then there's also like so many other programs out there, like AVP. There's a ton of stuff in, Florida. We have stuff here in Pennsylvania, and we play until we have to put sand socks on with slipper socks underneath so we can keep playing in the cold weather. So it's pretty cool that we have people like Toni that can help us get through these processes. Even with me as, a coach, she's going to be helping me get the concepts I need for my players too, so I can help them as well. So it's great. It's pretty cool. So thank you so much, Toni. Thank you everybody for joining us. I think, if anybody has any questions for Toni, again, you could go to that form. For the mom that said that her son might want to come up to visit grandma in Norristown, definitely he's welcome to come out and train with us. It's not that, so Norristown's probably like 35 minutes from us. So he's definitely welcome to come out. We'll squish him in. We're always looking for boys. I'm always like creeping around looking at tall boys. I'm like, hey, you should be playing volleyball. So, so I'm really big on the boys game. So, okay, everybody have a great night. Thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
joining.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.